All right, thank you so much for joining us to learn about internships abroad as part of your international experience with Texas Tech Engineering. So I work for CEA and I'm your CEA representative at Texas Tech. I work very closely with the international programs of what do you call it? The International Engineering Programs Office. And I recently, just here in the last little while, presented on 3 study options, one in Rome, one in Paris, and one in Buenos Aires. And this presentation is to talk a little bit about your opportunities to do internships abroad and for credit. So let's get started. So we'll talk about the program options, what the experience of being an intern is like, and also the experience. I'm going to focus a lot about like the process of getting the placement, then the course itself, and then how to apply. So first of all, CEA is based in Phoenix, Arizona. I personally live in Texas. I'm in Wimberley, Texas, near Austin. And we really have just a couple of options right now because while Sydney has normally been an option for engineers, Sydney, Australia, that will not be able to run yet in this summer because of COVID. There's a chance they might be able to open up, but for us, it's a little too late to get the ball rolling. So what I'm going to focus on today are 2 locations where we also have our study programs, that being Paris and Rome. So first of all, an international internship is the experience that you have is not just the individual placement, but it's a whole community of other people that are coming in and doing internship placements. Luckily, in these 2 locations, we have had a number of other engineering students do internships, but there will be students in this course, in this program, that are doing internships for business or even ag or humanities, political science, things like that. So in the internship itself, it's a true professional workplace where you can put to use the skills that you've learned, but also help learn new skills and kind of fill that skills gap that you may have before you're going into the workforce. But then all the while, cultural engagement, because that's one of the main reasons why we have such a great support in this program, is that you're not only doing a professional internship, but you're also in another culture. So there's a lot of questions you might have about that. So that's all part of the program. So there's 3 phases to the program. There's the placement process, there's the actual internship, and then there's the how do I go back home and utilize this moving forward into my career. And we focus on all of those things. We want to make sure that you're coming out of this like ready to kind of go and get a job. And we focus a lot on the career development aspect. And that starts at the very beginning in this discover phase. So we put a lot of focus on the individual student in the placement process. We learn about you, everything that you want to do, what you want to accomplish in your career, but also specifically with this program and this internship. So we don't advertise placements that you apply to. Rather than that, the placement process is about us working with you as a career coach. And then we do have some in mind. We always have placements that we have done in the past, but we can source new things based on your interests and your needs and hopes and dreams. And so, we do ask students to be flexible in that process because these are certified career coaches who are also, they can recognize some of the things that you need to work on, some of the career competencies that you may lack, and that's something that you can get from different kinds of placements. So that's what I was talking about here. You fill out an internship interest form, and then you start to work with our internship coaches, and they kind of, after a couple of meetings, we'll put together a profile of you and your interests and what you want, and then they send that to one of the sites, if it's Rome or Paris, and then you meet and have an interview with the internship coordinator on those sites, and then they find you a placement, and then you can choose to interview directly with the placement company. So it's important that you have these. I think there's the internship program. You really want to be a little bit more mature, a little bit more independent than a typical study abroad program. And a lot of students will sort of self-select out or self-select in. And luckily we have seen a lot of great interns come from engineering and from Texas Tech, but it's important to kind of self-reflect a little bit in this area before you go, because it's not just an internship, it's an internship abroad. The cultural context, the intercultural, multicultural context adds another layer. And it does also bring a lot of reward to you later, because it's something that on your resume and in your career profile, you can say, I worked abroad. And if you can articulate the reasons why that's important, that's something that's where it really lives and gives you that advantage over other people. But you have to be able to articulate it. And that's something we do teach and we talk about a lot in this program. So here's some, I know students are always wanting to know sample placements. We have tried to put together a few things for you to look at here. We do have some past students, and Allie and I were talking about, Allie's from Texas Tech. If you didn't know, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Wright, and I'm the Program Manager for Europe at Texas Tech University in the College of Engineering.
So she does work with the students that go study abroad or internship abroad, and can be that first stop in terms of asking questions about whether or not an internship is right for you. She does know some of the students who passed done internships, but they might not be easy to track down. We do have a student blog, and that might be one way to go and find out about other students' experiences. I think that's the best way to really learn what an internship abroad or even a study abroad is like. So the course itself, so there is a course associated with it. And I mentioned earlier that there are career competencies. So the course is all about preparing you for your career. And that's all I'll say. You don't need, it's a Moodle course, and we don't have to get into all of that really right now, but there's a lot of competencies that employers and colleges have come together and created. And we also do like a skills assessment for each student. So then we can see how you've improved while you're abroad during an internship. And these are all those competencies. I think they're being updated, but these are all things that you can learn through this course. I mean, you're also, obviously the main priority is probably getting the experience of the internship in your field. So, and this is just sort of a chart showing the different things that we do. We do have cultural activities or discussions going throughout the course, the placement. We do have coaching calls with NACE is this is the career coaches that I was talking about. And then we do a career readiness assessment. So it's very you-oriented in terms of, like I said before, preparing you to leverage this opportunity, to leverage this experience into your career. I have the semester one on here, but if you were looking at studying abroad in Paris for the semester, you can add an internship. But I think we're more focused on summer internships here today. It's the same kind of format. So I'm going to just stop the share here because it's a little different process than that page says. Allie, you want to talk about the application process?
Okay, so your first stop is to check out the Texas Tech IEP website, and I'm going to put that in the chat for everyone. And so there's a couple different internship options with CEA. There is the Paris and the Rome, like Kelly mentioned. And so I'm going to put both of them in the chat for you. And so how to get started is you review your options, and looking on these program pages, as soon as I find Paris will be in business. There it is. You will see like what the different requirements are. CEA does require vaccination for their programs, as well as you can find the budget, the CEA page, which if you look on the CEA website, they do have different costs than Texas Tech because we have a cohort with them, meaning you first apply through TTU and you will hit start application on that program page that I dropped in the chat. And it will take you to the advising application, which is the first step in going abroad. By selecting start application on any non-faculty led program, it does not put you in any specific program. It puts you in the advising application, and that's where you can go through, do the video and assessment. You can also think about your goals, personal, professional, academic. We might ask you about those because they might then relate to when you're talking to CEA about what it is you want to get out of an international internship. Perhaps they're connected. And then you'll meet with me, we'll discuss them, and then you will get moved into your program specific application. Your program specific application is going to be due. You will see that summer programs are due March 1st. Internships require an earlier deadline. So we do ask that you have everything in your TTU application completed by February 15th. This does not mean you come to me on like February 13th and you're like, I'm ready to go abroad. I would recommend the start of January at the latest is when you kind of get started on an internship with CEA abroad for a summer term. And then after you're approved into the program, we do check your GPA. You need that 275 and have no disciplinary issues with the Office of Student Conduct. After that, because this is a cohort, I send CEA all of your information. And then they add you into their system. You get a My CEA account, as well as you have an internship coordinator where you'll talk to them about what your goals are, what you're wanting to get out of your experience. That is also an interview. So let's be prepared for that.
Yeah, it's like a series of interviews, which is great practice. So I do have a question here from someone. So it is, so if we were to intern, we would need to take the course as well. So the answer to this is yes. But it's really more of they're all together. So the course is part of the experience, and it enables you to get the most out of the career development learning. And I think it's more of a benefit than a detriment. And that is really because you can critically think about everything that you're doing in the workplace, and particularly for the multicultural and intercultural kind of stuff that you're seeing in a workplace in another country. And the other thing is that, and I don't think I mentioned this before, we don't have any salaries or pay or wages for internships. The internships experiences that you get on study abroad programs are for credit. And so because of that, we have to keep the academic credit with this. And there might be some other programs out there that you can do without credit, but I don't know, like they're not through CEA. The CEA model is to do it with this course because, and the course doesn't require like a full, like a college course, the kind of contact hours that you'd have, because a lot of it is the internship. So it's much less in the class kind of stuff, and it's more the internship itself. Hope that answers that question a little bit. So meaning that we might be in the question and answer phase, unless you have anything else to say, Ari, I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recording so that everybody feels comfortable about asking the questions.